Meet John. John is a businessman. John wants to start a bookstore, but he doesn't know how to manage books in the store. So he arranged a meeting with his college librarian to get some idea about the book data management. Librarian gave him few advices. Organize your books by genre or subject. Keep separate shelf for each genre or subject. In each shelf, arrange books in alphabetical order. Then give codes to your bookshelves and write down in a logbook which books are in which shelves. This is a simple example for logbook. In here, we have to write book name, author name, telephone, and shelf ID and genre. John is a good businessman. He thinks that all the ideas were good except writing data about the book in a logbook because that method is old. So he thought making an electronic medium to store the logs of his books, which is an electronic database. John thinks that using a manual database like logbook gives several problems. Take big space to keep logs of his books. Searching books using these logs takes more time. There can be data loss. Hard to back up book logs. When we are using a logbook to write details about books in a store, we need number of books as we have to write more details. John thinks that he should meet his friend Peter, who is a software engineer, to make an electronic database. So from the story of John, we have learned several things. A database is a collection that is organized well so that it can be easily accessed and managed. We store data in books or in electronic medium. But storing data in a book, a manual database, has many problems as mentioned by John. John meets Peter, and John told his requirements to Peter. Then Peter told John, using an electronic database to manage your bookstore is a very good idea and it gives a lot of advantages. Then Peter told John, but first, we have to create the tables of our relational database. Then John asked, what are the tables? Then Peter started explaining. What we are going to do in here is, we are going to create a set of tables and store data in those tables. For example, first let's create the tables to store authors. ID, name, and phone number. Then create the tables to store shelves. ID, name, and genre. As you can see in the above table, we keep two separate tables to maintain data about authors and shelf to reduce data redundancy. Then John asks, what is data redundancy? Think that if we store all the data in one table called books details, we have to first store ID, name, and the genre of the book. Then we have to store the author's name and the author's telephone number. Then we have to store the shelf and the shelf genre. As you can see in here, the author one is repeated and also his phone number is also repeated. And the shelf one and the shelf one's genre also repeated. So now we have a data repetition in our tables. Think that if we want to update author one, then we have to update that data in two places. So that is loss of data consistency. So to get avoid this, we use separate tables to store data about books and authors and also shelf. So we can read and find and update data efficiently and accurately. But if we use three tables to store authors separately, shelf separately, and books separately, then we can have less data repetition, which is less data redundancy. John thanks Peter. So thank you for watching this. In the next video, we are talking about the relational database.